Hi everyone, good morning to everyone. Yeah, so yesterday we completed security profiles tab in the Fortinet firewall. So today we will go and we will start policies and objects. So policies and objects, one of the very important tab. According to these rules only, so firewall can do either deny or allowing of the traffic that may be incoming as well as outgoing, right? So it will follow top to down, top to bottom approach. Okay, so first we have to create whatever rules as per our business requirement. First we have to gather the requirement. So we have to gather the requirement related to from trust to untrust, and trust to DMZ, and DMZ to untrust, and DMZ to trust. So first of all, what type of application we want to access in the organization level. So we have to gather the requirement from the different stakeholders. When I say different stakeholders, so different team members. So what applications they are using as per their requirement or as per their roles and responsibilities or as per as their business purpose. So according to respective business point of view, after gathering the requirement, so we have to go and we have to create these policies. So whenever we are creating the policies, as I said, we have to remember the network architecture diagram. So every network architecture diagram or every firewall contains three different types of zones. Those zones are, first one is trust zone, that is also called internal zone, and second one is a DMZ or DMZ zone. Third zone is untrust or external or internet or public. So these are the three different types of zones. So now we have to understand how that particular traffic is going on. So whether the traffic is going on inbound to outbound or outbound to inbound. Once again, the traffic is going from trust to DMZ and DMZ to untrust, or untrust to DMZ, or untrust to trust. There are different permutations and combinations wise. So first we should understand about the inbound traffic and outbound traffic, how it is going, and which users they are trying to access what type of traffic. So according to that one, even we can include and exclude as well. So for senior management, they need everything access. For normal users, maybe they don't want to require everything access. According to that one also, after gathering everything requirement part, so these policies we have to configure. Okay, so this one, first of all, we should ask our respective maybe information security manager or maybe respective company or client, or otherwise we have to speak with the different stakeholders. After gathering the requirement, then we have to start working on these policies creation. So before going to policy creations, first, as I said, we have to create security profile. So antivirus and also video filter, DNS filter, app control, web control, okay, web filter. So all those policy security profiles we have to configure. For block listing, we no need to enable anything. For whitelisting only, we have to enable all those security profiles. After creating security profile, also we can create security group as well. So nothing but grouping of all those security profiles in a single group. Okay. So then we have to enable all the security profiles. I already told you, so how this policy creation in the theoretical part. So name of the policy we have to provide, and here from to they provided, but basically it is a trust and trust, nothing but source zone and destination zone. So whatever rule I provided theoretical one, that is completely generic way. That time itself I told it's a generic policy. Give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, whatever policy we created in the theoretical, that is a generic policy for every vendor, but vendor to vendor, this particular policy creation will vary. When I say policy creation, nothing but here options. So here you can see name of the policy, nothing but rule of the policy otherwise, from nothing but source zone to destination zone, and once again source user, destination user, schedule, whether this particular policy you want to enable every date into, and nothing but 24 bar into 7 into 365 days, or only specific period of the time. So if you want to say drill down of this particular schedule, maybe couple of times vendors will come. So for vendors, they're nothing but our guest users. For guest users, whether we will provide 365 days access for internet example. For guest users, whether we'll provide 365 days access.
No, sir.
Yes. So we'll not provide 365 days. So maybe we will provide how many days they are working on in our organization level. Okay. So that is called basically schedule. So whether it is for 1 day or 2 days or 1 week or 1 month, contractors also will be there sometimes, whether it is for 6 months or if you want to renew another 6 months and so on. So that particular thing. And service. So the service, whether it is single service or multiple services. Okay, action. Next one, NAT, network address translation. Next one, security profiles. Next one is a log. Next one is a bytes. So these are all the different types of fields are there. This particular Fortinet firewall. Okay. So as I said, security profiles is one of the important field. Okay. So without security profiles, it will not do any security scanning, malware scanning, IDS scanning, IPS scanning. So DNS filtering, URL filtering, web filtering, application control, web control, voice or IP filtering. Okay, Wi-Fi traffic filtering and so on. So these security profiles are very important in the firewall level. Okay, so for denying whether we have to enable this particular security profiles or not. For denied activity or blocked activity, whether we have to enable security profiles.
No, sir.
Yeah. So did you see this one first profile? Yeah, we'll go on. We'll see. First one is a block malicious by POTI EDR. Block malicious activity by POTI EDR. So meaning here, POTI EDR is one of the antivirus tool. It's a next generation tool. Okay. So that is the rule name they defined from. So these are all the different types of sources and destination. Nothing but these are all interfaces. So these are all the interfaces. Even you can see here. So WLC, it is okay. DC firewall, data center firewall, and Meru WLC, it's one of the wireless controller. ISFW, it's one of the internal firewall. WLC, it's one of the wireless controls for staff, wireless control for students, wireless control for the teachers. So these are all the different things they created. So those are all the interfaces. And two, WAN uplink. So nothing but internet interface. And source, all the sources, destination, POTI EDR, XDR. So these two all completely for the malware investigation purpose we will use are malicious destinations. Whenever these internal users or students or teachers or staff, they are trying to so they are trying to access. They are trying to access any of the malicious files. In that scenario, you can see schedule always, service all. So that may be drive-by downloads, that may be through pen drives, that may be through phishing email, malware attachments, and so on. Action is denied, nothing but it has to block automatically. Okay. So NAT is not required. Why? Because it is already blocking the activity. For that's why it's NAT is not required. For blocked activity is not required. Converting private IP to the public IP. Security profiles. So anyway, we are blocking that activity. Why we have to enable the security profile? It's not required. It's not a mandatory. Because when the user is trying to access the malicious file itself, that time it is going to block it. So there is no need to do any antivirus scanning or malware scanning or POTI sandboxing scanning or submitting the samples to POTI sandbox. Okay, so that's why for blocking the activity, security profiles are not required. Okay, so log meaning here, so backend logs. So in this scenario, which type of logs it will store backend? Which type of logs it will store backend?
Signature based, sir.
Yeah, what type of category of the logs I'm asking?
Malware.
Yes, you are right. Malware related logs. So these malware related logs only we have to integrate. Okay. So in this scenario, EDR, this first policy name is EDR. So EDR, it's a completely malware related attacks. It can block it. So EDR related logs, it will be generated backend. Those logs we have to integrate it to not only those logs, whatever logs are generating an entire firewall. So we have to integrate it to our SIM tool. Which method we have to integrate from firewall?
Syslog.
Yes, syslog method. So this is the first policy. So in the similar way, coming back to second policy, DNS. So dedicated to domain name server. So nothing but whenever any user they are trying to access any domain name in that scenario, what exactly it should happen. So that is the DNS rule name, and from zone, any zone, destination is any, source is all, destination is all, schedule for 365 days, services enabled syslog as well as DNS. Services, you can say that it's a application basically. It's not about only application. It is like a port protocol I told you, right? So that is the thing basically, port and protocol related. So that is the thing. And action is accept. So here they are not saying allow, it is accept and deny. And the NAT is enable. Certificate inspection. So this DNS rule is configured for not for all the domains name whenever the user is trying to access. Can anyone explain what is this rule? Why only certification inspection they configure? Why they did not enable DNS filter option? So security profiles, we have DNS option also available, correct? So under security profiles, we have. So under security profile, we have DNS filter option also available. So why they enable only certificate inspection? So that means this DNS, whatever DNS rule is configured mainly for SSL TLS mutual authentication only. And also, so whatever domain they are trying to access, that particular domain, is there any SSL or TLS weak ciphers are there? Any vulnerabilities are existing? So for that one only, not dedicated to all the DNS domains should be accessed by the end user. It has to monitor. Okay, if you want, yes, we can create one more DNS rule. So whenever any domain name is accessing, so it should be identified. There is a blocklisted domain and whitelisted domain. According to that one, action should be either allow or either it is deny. So that we can create one more DNS rule as well. Okay, so the second rule is for DNS certificate inspection only. Next one is FIT Intel NUC outbound. So some of the connection they created, but even I am not sure about this one. So this is dedicated to their environment. Okay, so their rule name is some Intel NUC outbound connection. So this connection is going from where to where? This connection is going from where to where?
Internal to external.
Internal to external.
Internal to external, trust to untrust, trust to untrust zone. How did you say it's a trust or trust? Based on outbound connection and based on the WAN uplink interface. So according to that one, we can conclude that it's going from trust to untrust. So source is all, destination is all, and the schedule is for 365 days. Continuously it has to monitor. Source services, it has to monitor everything, and action is accept, and NAT is enabled. Now you can see security profiles. So it is going outbound connections. They want to monitor everything. So even malware scanning, they want to monitor. Okay. Even they want to monitor web control, nothing but which application they want to try to access. You can see app control also, IPS. Whenever any IPS related activity is happening, it has to block that one. SSL certificate inspection as well. Are you able to see this one? So AV antivirus, web control, app control, IPS signatures, and SSL certificate inspection. So these are all the things. Okay. So if you want, you can enable everything. Anyway, it's what are the different security profiles we have? Video filter option is available, file filter option is available. Additionally, then voice over IP filter option is available. All those things also we can enable. But anyway, this is outgoing traffic only. Okay. So next one, logs. Logs are storing. In such a way, we have to configure. So our rules, It is not a mandatory. Every organization has to follow same concept. First, we have to understand our business requirement. What is our requirement? What is our applications we want to access? So we have to speak with the different stakeholders and we have to gather the requirement. And you can see here, they created only, I think, how many rules? They created approximate 20 rules only they created, but actual environment will create more than 100 rules also. Okay. So next rule they created for the allow access. So allow FSA access. So FSA, it's one of the module in the Fortinet firewall. So this access from where to where? Which zone to which zone?
DMG zone to
DMZ to countries.
Yes.
zone.
Yeah. So that means this access they need from DMZ to respect to untrust, nothing but internet zone. So based on this abbreviation also you identified, right? So from this one, from DMZ to untrust zone. So they need access only. This is for access privilege. So DMZ to untrust zone, nothing but internet zone. And source is FSA admin. I think this is one of the tool. It is located in the DMZ zone. FSA tool, I think maybe it's a Porty, some other tool. Porty sandbox access, maybe some other tool. So they need some of the access. So example, admin access. So destination, source this one and destination. Only for admin, they are giving the access this one. Only for admin people, not for everybody. And the destination, and also next one, schedule is always enabled, and syslog is service all the applications wise. Action is accept, that is enabled. Here SSL is a no inspection. So under SSL TLS, I mean SSL TLS policy, so they created 4 types of policies. One is no inspection, one is a default inspection, another 2 inspections they created. So in certificate inspection as well. So here they enable no inspection default rule and the log is enabled. Okay. So what is the last role in any firewall? What is the last role?
Implicit.
Implicit.
deny.
Yes. So now you can go, you can see last rule is implicitly deny. So implicitly deny any zone to any zone, that may be trust to untrust or DMZ to untrust or DMZ to trust or untrust to trust. So any to any and all, everything, all, always, all, deny. So for deny thing, as I said, security profiles is not a mandatory. Anyway, we are denying the activity. And next one is all. So this is the way how we have to configure the policies. Okay. Now, when we will use normally and when we will use on our regular SOC operations, when we will use this particular option, anyone? When we have to go to firewall and when we have to block something or allow something in the firewall. What the use case?
When we want to block the IP address, which is malware infected.
Malware infected one. Okay. So can you specify specific use case?
If the phishing email is coming from the untouched zone, and which one we have to find the IP address in, and who are the clickers, then we have to find it from the SMTP server.
Excellent. That's perfect. Yes, you are right. So there are a couple of use cases, not only just a phishing email and malware. So example, one of the phishing email is coming from the external attacker. Example, maybe 1.1.1.1, whether it's a public IP or private IP.
Public IP.
Yes. So yeah, so 1.1.1.1 IP address is a phishing email attacker. He attached one of the malicious malware URL, sorry, malicious URL link or malicious malware file. Okay. So in that scenario, he sent to either single user or couple of users like a spear phishing or whaling. After analysis, after doing analysis of everything, phishing email investigation, you concluded that, so this is the phishing email. Then what we have to do? We have to block that particular IP address. If it is a malicious URL link is there, that one we have to block in proxy. If proxy server we are not using, we have to block in the firewall itself. So these are all the couple of options. So you have to take the IP address. Now you can tell me, so how to block IP address in the FortiGate firewall. So what is the rule name we have to give? What is the rule name? What is the rule name?
TDR and DNS.
Rule name. If you
Block
want to
Block malicious.
block malicious over the
block malicious phishing email IP address. Okay. Block malicious phishing email IP address. Okay. So from what is from zone? I mean, from where to where? Source zone.
For untrust
To
zone.
trust zone. Source.
All.
Source all.
If it is a single system, we can mention.
I'm sorry.
If it is a
What is-
one system or one, then we can mention that.
Yeah, source meaning here. So attacker IP address from which attack phishing email attacker that particular. So phishing email is coming to the victim IP. Source in this scenario, attacker IP address. Is it clear? So untrust to trust this particular phishing email is coming. In that scenario, source is nothing but attacker IP address. Here not required all, only that particular attack IP address. In this scenario, 1.1.1.1. So we have to specify 1.1.1.1. What about destination?
All.
Destination, yes. If it is spear phishing and every entire organization is receiving, we have to specify all. Otherwise, specific victim only we have to. Okay, for everybody, you are right. Sorry, everybody. Otherwise, in future he will repeat once again. All, you are right. Sorry. So next one, destination is our schedule.
Always.
Always.
Yes.
Service.
All.
Okay. Next one,
Action
NAT.
ten.
Enable. Next.
What about security profile?
No need.
No need. Action.
Deny.
Deny. In this is the way how we can block the IP address. Not only for this scenario. So one of the VPN authentication failures. Attackers are trying to do malicious VPN authentication failures from the public IP. So that alert will come to SIM tool. So now we have to come and we have to block that particular IP address. That is one of the scenario. Brute force attack is coming from the external attacker IP address. That is one of the scenario. Even we can block the URL link as well. URL link also. So how we have to block URL link? Example, once again, phishing email URL link. In that scenario, service option is available, right? So otherwise, what you can do, create one dedicated, okay, application control or web control. Web filtering option is available. There you can go and you can add whatever URL link attacker has sent through email. So you can add that particular URL link. You can add customized URL also. Customized URL also you can add. And you can specify the dedicated to security profile, whatever you configured. So in that scenario, example, malicious URL link case, phishing email coming via malicious URL link for couple of users, otherwise all users. In that scenario, what is the rule name? Rule name.
Block malicious URL.
block malicious URL link.
Yeah, blocking of malicious URL link from which zone?
Untrust.
Untrust to
Trust.
source.
Source IP. Attacker IP.
Attacker IP address. Destination.
All.
All. Service.
All.
Said all. Okay, action.
Deny.
NAT. NAT not required, disabled. That's
Not-
anyway we are blocking. Security profile.
Not a.
Security
Not
profile. Not applicable. Then where we are blocking URL?
Here only, sir. In security profile only we are.
Security profile only. We have to go and we have to create one of the. That's what I said, no? So you can go to the web filter option and click. You can create one of the new profile here. So phishing email URL blocking. So add button option, right now we don't have add button option. Actually add button is available here. Click on add button. So once you are adding button, so here customized the key created this. So you can see customized URL link, local categories. So here you have to click one more plus symbol here, and you can create custom one. Otherwise, malicious URL link, phishing malicious URL link. You can specify that particular URL name. Example, icar.com. Is it clear? So icar.com, you have example icar.com is maybe malicious URL link. You can specify the URL link and give save button. That's all. Then come back to security policies and objects. And whatever security profile you have configured here, so related to malicious URL link, you can enable only that particular web filter option here. So this is the way how to block the malicious URL link. Okay. So that is malicious URL link side. IP address directly you can specify here, but URL link here. But what the first priority to block URL link? Which tool?
Security profile.
First, which which tool you will prioritize first to block URL link? Proxy.
Sir.
Yes. Yes. So first you can give prioritization in the proxy. In case proxy you are not using in an organization level, then you can come to firewall. Okay. Even this one you can block in somewhere else. Where is that? Which tool? Another tool.
EDR tool.
ADR tool. That's right. So there are multiple options we have, either proxy or firewall or maybe EDR tool as well. So this is the way how to block. So these are all the scenarios. As I said, nowadays, like a service-based companies like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Accenture, all these companies. So we have L1, L2, and L3 levels. So normally L1 team, they will not provide any admin access. First of all, they will not give to firewall access as well. In that scenario, L1 team only they will say recommendations in the instant investigation, whatever they have done. And finally, they will escalate to L2 team or L3 team. That people only they will block IP address or malicious URL link. Their job roles and responsibility related to L1 team, just only identifying the false positive and true positive only. It's a basic investigation, but instant response as well as blocking something, so that one will be taken care by respect to L2 and L3 team. Even L2 and L3 team also couple of times they will not give access. Separate team will be there that is dedicated to firewall team or proxy team. So in that scenario, we have to raise a ticket with the respective team members, and then they will go and they will block the URL link or maybe hash value or maybe malicious domain names and so on. Okay, one more scenario we can discuss. So right now we discussed two scenarios. One is a blocking of the IP address. Second one is a blocking of the URL link. So third scenario, can anyone explain which one we can block in the firewall? Which one we can block in the firewall? One more option. Or one more scenario otherwise.
Brute force, sir.
Brute force attack is nothing but external IP address only we can identify, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One more option.
Data loss.
Yeah, that's fine. Which use case I'm asking? Domain name. So example, so in our any phishing email, first investigation is from which domain that particular phishing email has come. So we have to take the domain name and we have to go and we have to check the reputation of the domain. If that reputation of the domain is showing as a bad reputation, then we have to come and we have to block that particular domain name either in the which tool? Domain name where we have to block? DNS server, only DNS server. Firewall also. Yes, firewall also. You can see your DNS option. DNS filter. So here DNS filter we have to click on, and we have to add what our malicious domain is there, and we have to define action as a block. So domain name, either we can block in the firewall. That's what I told you, right? So either in the firewall, or maybe either in the SMTP server, or either in the DNS server itself. Total 3 places we can block domain name. So total 3 use cases we discussed. One of the IP address blocking. Second one is URL blocking, even domain name blocking also. Okay, URL nothing but a website or application. So these are the 3 different types of things we can block in the URL link. You are dedicated to security analyst. You are a dedicated firewall guy. What will you do in that scenario? What exactly you will configure in this one? Dedicatedly, you are working for the firewall tool. Nothing but you selected for firewall, not on the SOC analyst for SIM operations. In that scenario, what is your role in this particular option?
Only we can block in firewall level only.
No. What is role? What is your role? I'm asking.
Monitoring inbound and outbound.
Monitoring inbound outbound traffic. Not only that one, even you have to troubleshoot something whenever something got compromised. Even sometimes you have to create policies also. Sometimes what will happen, one of the developer or maybe one of the product development team or HR team or legal team or whoever it may be in the organization level, they are trying to access couple of applications. In that scenario, firewall will block. Then they will say, so we need this access for business justification. So then they will provide business justification to us. Then they will send an email. Otherwise, they will raise a ticket. Then you have to come back to here and you have to create a policy. Otherwise, maybe you need a SIM tool POC. SIM tool POC. Example, you are a part of SBI Bank. You are the customer. You are the customer. Think like you are a customer. So then SIM tool vendor has come to do the POC of SIM tool. Okay, you need a SIM tool. I mean, you have requirement of SIM tool. So the respective team has come. Okay, respective team has come to do the POC. In that scenario, they need internet access. Internet access, they need it. So in that scenario, what we have to do? We have to create a policy. That what is the policy name now? What is the policy name now?
Internet for POC.
Internet for vendors or Wi-Fi access for vendors. So otherwise Wi-Fi access for guest users. You can consider guest. They are guest for only POC, maybe 2 weeks they will do. So Wi-Fi guest access for 2 weeks or vendors. So we have to give the rule name is Wi-Fi access and from zone. So we have to specify the from where to where internet.
From internal.
Internal to
External.
external. Yeah, trust to untrust or internal to internet. That's right. Source.
All.
All.
For them, sir.
Yeah, for them. Whatever static IP we are assigning to them, only for that static IP we have to enable here. So for guest users, it's better to assign only static IP. Static IP. Why? Because if continuously it is changing the DHCP IP address, so how we can monitor which IP address we have to assign? So example, they are coming at 9 o'clock and they are working till 6 o'clock. So if DHCP is enabled, so only for 2 weeks we are providing the access. If are enabling DHCP, continuously it will change the DHCP whenever they are shutting down the system, or if they are moving from one location to another location, if they are moving from desk to data center or maybe meeting room and so on. For guest users, it's better to assign static IP. So you can specify the source, nothing but static IP. Destination, all. Schedule, always. Service, all. Action, action. Accept, NAT, enable. Security profile. We are providing Wi-Fi access to guest users. In that scenario, security profile. All. So everything, whatever security profiles we have configured, antivirus, web filter, video filter, everything we have to enable.
Sir, even schedule is for 2 weeks only.
Yeah, schedule also 2 weeks. Sorry. Yeah, schedule also 2 weeks. Okay. So this is the way how we can provide and we can create policies. policies. Okay, it's an interview question, guys. How can you block IP address in the firewall? So do you have access to firewall? What is the answer you will give? What is the
Yes, I
answer?
have access to firewall.
Yes, I do have access to admin firewall. I do have access to firewall level of the admin access. So whenever something it is blocking, yes, I can go and I can block in the firewall level. That is the answer you can give because you know the total end to end now, right? Okay. So this is about firewall policies. So always our last rule is implicitly denying. So as I said, all these policies rules. Okay, example, you have 5,000 rules are there, 500 rules are there. 500 rules are there. In that scenario, what we have to do? So after 6 months once, we have to go and we have to see whether all rules really hitting the traffic or not. Okay. So this is not only applicable to firewall, it is applicable to SIM rule as well. That is called fine tuning. Fine tuning of SIM tool or fine tuning of firewall meaning here. Okay. So you have to see whether really whatever 500 rules or 100 rules or 2000 rules or 1000 rules, whatever I created, whether really we are using all the 1000 rules or 2000 rules or not. So at least we have to do audit 6 months once. Okay. Example, one of the rule or 10 of the rules out of 1000 we are not using from past 6 months. What will you do? Yes, you are right. We have to disable those rules. That's right. That's perfect. So that one we have to disable. 6 months we are not at all using those rules. Why we have to? So every time whenever packet is entering, it has a match and it has to inspection. It has to do. It can identify more CPU utilization, more RAM utilization. Better you can disable that one. Whenever somebody is required access in those rules, whatever disabled rules, then they will raise a request once again, and we have to provide the access. So that auditing also we have to do. Whatever rules we created or whatever policies we created. So 6 months once we have to audit those rules. Audit meaning here. So whether really whatever we created the rules we are using or not. Okay. So later, if you are not using couple of rules, then you can disable those rules. Otherwise, you can say blocked. Activities are blocked. Okay. So this is the way how we have to create the policies or rules in the firewall. Okay. So security profiles, very, very important. So next one is multicast policy. So multicast policy, nothing but from a single source to multiple destination addresses. From single IP address to or single source IP address to multiple source IP addresses. If you want to send or if you want to create, that time is a multicast policy. Okay, it is a single to any basically. So that time we will create, and this is for multicast policy for IPv4 first one, and next one is IPv6. Okay, so they did not create main firewall policies. This one only. Local in policy. So if you want to create policies within the organization, I mean within the internal users, we can create that one also based on the application wise. So I said, right, additionally, we have to create application policy as well. Application control policy. So this is the one. So as I said, so our except Palo Alto firewall, all other firewalls is working on a concept called port and protocol. Okay. So first we have to create local policy, and those local policy, after enabling this one, then we have to go to firewall policy. Now application is HTTP. So here they define both 80 as well as 443. Okay. So protocol is a TCP source interface, and action is accept. Okay. Couple of HTTP related applications also they're accepting. So additional policy we have to create. Why? Because as I said, you are blocking something. Example, maybe you can come back to here. In this scenario, maybe first first thing is first firewall policy, maybe blocking of the websites or our social networking websites or any other malicious website. You are blocking here malicious websites and you are putting services all. First policy name is example blocking of websites. Okay, malicious blocking of websites. Source is trust, destination is untrust, source is all, destination is all, and schedule is always. Service you are enabling all. So whether can we access only specific applications? Can we access specific applications? No,
All
you are right. Yeah, to disable that one, so to implement that particular process, we have to create one more policy. That's what I said. We have to create two policies. So one we have to create, first of all, we have to whitelist in the local in policy. Then we have to come back to here and we have to create another policy. So that's why, so as compared to Palo Alto firewall, so it is little bit complicated. In Palo Alto firewall, instead of service, it here application option is available. So in the Palo Alto firewall, instead of service option, additional option is called application. So directly we can go and we can specify the example. I want to block only Facebook. I can specify the only Facebook here. So that much granularity is there in the Palo Alto firewall. But unfortunately, Fortinet firewall, Juniper, SRX, and Checkpoint, and Cisco AC firewall, WatchGuard, Sonic Wall, all those firewall, it is not supporting that much granularity. That's why Palo Alto firewall is a unique firewall in the entire market. So next one is IPv4 access control list. So if it is required, we can create, otherwise is not required. So which IP we have to whitelist and which IP we have to blocklist from source to destination. So example, after identifying the requirement, you want to enable only for specific users. Maybe I want to give only access to couple of users only, then we have to provide the access control list. Okay, name of the policy and also interface, how the traffic is going, and we have to select source address related to users, destination address, nothing but whether applications or websites and so on, service and action. So only for specific users. Okay. So example, maybe CEO need everything access, including they need YouTube access. So whatever he wants, maybe that is a business requirement for CEO, CTO, CISO, CFO, senior management or board of directors. We have to provide every access. We should not block anything to them. In that scenario, we can exclude only that particular IP addresses here. Okay, so that is IPv4 access control list. This is for IPv6 control list. If you are using IPv6 IP address in our organization level. Next one is a DOS policy. I told you, right? What are the DOS controls? Whenever DOS or DDoS attacks are coming, what exactly the preventive mechanisms?
Anti-DDoS tool parallelly to the router.
Anti-DDoS tool or anti-DOS tools we have to use. Additionally,
Rate limit. Firewall, throttling or rate limit should be implemented in firewall and as well as server also.
additionally, NIDS, NIPS, that's right. So first thing is recommended one is in the entry point of don't say throttling. So it's not a recommended one. It is maybe last option only. First option always is in parallel to ISP router, we have to use a anti-DOS or anti-DDoS tools. That is the first thing we have to say. So second one is network IDS and network IPS. Third option, you can say throttling. What is the reason? Why we have to say third option only throttling?
Because of
Why we have to say throttling or rate
Avail-
limit?
availability-
we will
availability
use
is
legitimate
coming.
users.
Availability
cost.
will be coming.
Legitimate users.
I'm sorry.
We will use legitimate users if we implement throttling.
Not exactly. Yes, I need, yeah, you are almost there, but it's not correct.
Availability issue will be coming.
Availability issues will, how availability issues will come?
If you limit the rate,
Hmm.
okay, if less number of traffics we are allowing, the
Hmm.
other legitimate users will be in problems. So that's all.
Excellent, that's right. So if you are doing baselining of the rate limit, example, after installing the server, so 1 month or 2 months, you observe the traffic and you have done baseline only 10,000 per second in the server level. Okay. So after observing our internal traffic or insider traffic, so maybe horizontal growth and vertical growth always will increase. So day by day, these particular even applications will increase, and also even employees also will increase. If you're not doing the proper design and not defining the proper rate limit, in that scenario, even internal legitimate users, they're trying to lose the service. That's why always rate limit is not a recommended one. In the interview point of view also, you can say same answer. So like a third option only. So you have to say this one. So rate limit is not recommended one. So, but we can implement that option also. That's what you have to convince the interviewer. So first one is anti-DOS and anti-DDoS. Second one is network IDS and network IPS. But the rate limit don't say first option. It is always like a third option. Okay. So yes, here we have to identify which source IP address too much of the flooding of the traffic is coming. So here name of the respective. Okay, so name of the example DOS policy, interface, WAN interface, because so most of the cases, these are DOS attacks will come from the respective external interfaces only, like WAN link up interface. We have to specify the WAN link IP interface, source address. Source address, what we have to do regularly. Okay, so regularly we have to identify the malicious source IP addresses as per the global threat intelligence. Those IP addresses we have to put. Destination address is not required, it's not applicable. Service we have to shoot as a block. Okay, so this is the way how to create a DOS policy, but Palo Alto wise how they are defining, and even Cisco ASA firewall, instead of malicious source IP addresses, they are putting TCP here, TCP, UDP, ICMP, and also ERP, MAC, MacFlood, and so on. So 10,000 seconds. So TCP and ERP 10,000 seconds, UDP 10,000 seconds, ICMP 10,000 seconds, and we have to specify this respective server IP address as well. So in the Palo Alto and Cisco ASA firewall, so instead of specifying the malicious source IP address, so then they are specifying based on the rate limit wise, like a TCP flooding, UDP flooding, ICMP flooding, and ARP flooding. So they are providing rate limit based on the TCP, I mean, respective protocol wise. Okay. Otherwise, I will show you. DOS policy in Palo Alto. So rate limit normally they will define. So nothing but after identifying the server IP address. So name of the role is the DOS rule, aggregate profile DOS protection, classified DOS classified, Classification criteria source only, action protect. Yeah, unfortunately, firewall penalty is not there. So just you can check somewhere in the YouTube. So in the Palo Alto side, what they are defining. So DOS rule here and TCP, UDP, ICMP, ARP, MAC, and what IP address of the server and what the maximum limit. We have to define that particular option here. But here interface wise and source address wise, we are defining after identify malicious IP addresses. So that is about DOS policy creation. So next one is IPv6 DOS policy. If you are using IPv6 in our organizations, we have to define IPv6 as well. Proxy policy. So proxy already we created in the respective our security profiles. Even here also we can define. So proxy policy. So which websites we have to block and which websites we have to enable. So anyway, we are using under firewall policy itself proxy options. It is not required. So in case if you want to use a proxy option as well, yes, we can do that. So same option. So source, destination, scheduling, action, security profiles, logs. So right now implicitly deny. So ZTNA, what is ZTNA? Where did we discuss ZTNA?
Zero Trust Network Access.
In SOFO Central.
Yes, SOFO Central. So zero trust. So zero trust means no, you should not trust anybody in the organization level. That is confusing. So zero trust basically what exactly it will represent? It is it is approach basically. It can identify how we can secure our organization by eliminating implicitly trust. Okay. So, and also we have continuous validate every stage of our security profiles. So that is called zero trust. Okay. First, we have to identify nothing but, so we should not trust anyone in the organization level. So we have to everywhere provide the access controls, including insider threat as well. That is called zero trust basically. So that is option is recently it came into the market. So it's created recently only this one, ZTNA. Next one, authentication rules. Started. Yeah, so in that firewall policies tab, we have to create all those policies based on requirement. So based on our business requirement wise. So in case if how we can explain firewall roles and responsibilities. So even if it is L1 or L2 or L3 level, I will explain that one later. Even I can provide the roles and responsibilities in one of the Excel sheet. So for CDR, vulnerability management, GRC, firewall roles and responsibilities, and also SOC roles and responsibilities. So for every tool roles and responsibilities, every vacancy roles and responsibilities completely different. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. I had out here.
Yes, please.
Actually, dedicated firewall team will allow the ports and opening the ports, closing the ports, and blocking the ports, right? So where we can do that option?
In the firewall policy itself, under service.
Okay,
Under
sir.
service, we have to enable. That's what I said. So in the FortiGate firewall, local policy option is available, right? Local policy. So first we have to create local policy. That local policy after creating, then we have to create firewall policy. But if it is a Palo Alto, directly we can specify the port number and protocol application as well. So example, I want to give access to RDP. Normally RDP should be blocked for every organization. In that scenario, 3389 port number. So for this particular port number, we have to give one of the access because they want to try to access remote server or maybe remote desktop. So source IP, source zone is a trust, untrust zone is not applicable, and the source user is some example user IP address is a 10.10.10.1, and destination is remote desktop RDP service, and port number 3389, and action is allowed, and service profile we have to provide everything. So this is what we have to create.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, can anyone can share your screen? Nasimun?
Sir, I can.
Yeah, internet issue or your data is over? Yeah. So PK will share,
Yes, sir.
please. So I will give co-host. Done. No, I think I given to someone else. 1 second. So I have more than 50 Mbps bandwidth, still I'm facing issue. Okay, PK, you can start. You can share.
One minute. Up to now open, sir. Now facing same issue.
Oh my God. Okay, that's fine. So does
Let me start.
anybody able to access?
So again, I am.
Can I share my screen, sir? I have access.
Yes, Aruna, please.
Okay, sir. I have login. I'm sharing now.
I think I don't have access, it seems.
Sharing.
I don't have access, sir. Could you
Yes,
please
I have
allow?
done. Yes, I have done. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. I have shared my screen. Are you able to
Yeah.
see, right?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. Can you go to policies and objects tab? Yes. So yeah, click on authentication rules. Authentication rules.
Authentication.
Yeah.
This tab is buffering, sir. Authentication rules.
Yeah. So authentication rules, why we will do this one? So whenever if you want to access any website, so it will get the access. Okay, authentication rules, why we will use this one. So it is based on the protocol and also address and parameters. So it can be used sometimes who has to access what. So that is based on these rules wise we will configure. So that is nothing but authentication rules. So here we have to go and we have to create these rules, and also scheme also we can create under this one. Yeah, click on addresses. So addresses is related to IP addresses. So we cannot remember all the IP addresses, right? So along addresses, we have to provide the host name as well. So IP address along with the host name. It's better to always provide FQDN name. What is FQDN? FQDN. Yeah, fully qualified domain name. That's right. So fully qualified domain name. So that fully qualified domain name is nothing but it's a host name basically, because we cannot remember IP address always, correct? In that scenario, we have to create IP address, and that IP address we have to specify example printer, IP address, example database server, IP address, then application server, IP address web server, IP address DNS server. In such a way, we can map that particular IP address to easily we can remember identifying purpose. That is called addresses basically. So okay, next one. Internet service databases. So here mainly for the whatever internet services we are trying to access. So that IP addresses we have to enter and we have to specify the IP address. But almost things, all these things we will not use. Go back to VPN. VPN. Yeah. So VPN is for the two types of VPNs as we discussed. There are remote VPN, that is also called IPsec VPN. Second one we have site-to-site VPN. Okay. So as I said, if you want to open or if you want to create a remote VPN or IPsec VPN, so first of all, we have to VPN client will be there, VPN portal will be there, and VPN gate will be there. So VPN client, we will install, you can see SSL VPN clients, that option is there, right? Down, last one. Yeah. So SSL VPN client, we have to install in the each and every end user machine, and we have to specify the, so server, nothing but in this scenario, firewall itself. So interface, which interface we have to specify? Which interface we have to specify? So we have to specify WAN interface only. WAN interface only, because VPN normally will access either through remote. Okay, so either through even on-premise as well. So always we have to select as a WAN interface, because internet is a mandatory for VPN. Okay, so WAN interface we have to select. So client we have to deploy in each and every machine. So Aruna, do you have any VPN in your organization? Which VPN you are using?
Cisco we are using.
Yeah, can you open Cisco? Can you connect?
I think this is my personal device. It seems. This
Just
is my personal device.
Oh, personal device. That's
Yeah.
fine then. That's fine. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so normally VPN client we will deploy in each and every end user machine, and the user has to enter the username and password if they want to trying to connect the office applications. In that scenario, that particular request will go to the VPN portal. You can see VPN portal is there, SSL VPN portal. So first we have to create VPN client configuration, then we have to create VPN portal information. Here we have to specify the requested gateways information, routers information, and interfaces informations as well. So then it will choose the nearest router, and finally he is able to connect, he or she is able to connect to the respective office, and finally they are able to access the application. That is remote VPN. So remaining three options are there, right? IPsec tunnel, IPsec concentrator, IPsec tunnel template. All these are for the site-to-site VPN. So how many pages are there in the site-to-site VPN?
2, sir.
What are the 2 pages?
First 3 messages are exchanged and next phase 6 messages are exchanged.
Messages.
Yeah, IKE phase 1 and IKE phase 2. Phase 1 and phase 2. So IKE is nothing but internet key exchange. So phase 1 and also phase 2. So here key exchanges also will happen. Public and private key. Example, from you are working for Bangalore and your headquarters there in the California, and you want to access California related application. First, you have to connect it to the Bangalore VPN. From there, you have to connect to California location. In that scenario, so in between these 2 locations, it will form a tunnel. So for tunnel, how it will work? So even we have to configure tunnel as well. You can see IPsec tunnel option is available. So IPsec tunnel we have to specify, and in the tunnel we have to specify the peer IP address. What is peer IP address in the IPsec tunnel? Peer IP address.
Neighbor device IP address, sir.
Neighbor device IP address. In this scenario, which IP address from site to site?
Nearest one.
Nearest one? No. In this scenario, California, that's right. So example, you want to configure the tunnel between Bangalore to California. In that scenario, California FortiGate firewall IP address. Or if you are using router as a VPN, so router IP address we have to specify. That's correct. So in that particular scenario, it will form a tunnel between, so your location Bangalore to your destination location, it will form a tunnel. Okay, first we have to create a tunnel. So then we have to create a concentrator, then we have to create tunnel template. But other vendors, they are saying in different options. IKE phase 1, IPsec IKE, and IKE phase 2, and so on. But concept wise, back and everything is same. For VPN configurations, we will use this one. Okay. So that is about VPN part. So here, as I said, there are 2 types of VPNs. It will supported by every firewall. So one is remote VPN or IPsec VPN. Second one is site-to-site VPN. So for those things, we will configure here. One of the use cases also there. VPN authentication failures are coming from different geolocations within the short span of time. That is one of the SIM tool use case. SIM tool use case. I'm repeating once again. VPN authentication failures are coming from different geolocations within short span of time. Meaning here, so maybe take Bangalore or Hyderabad. So one of the authentication failure is coming from the, everybody's know about Hyderabad or Bangalore. Which one you are familiar?
Hyderabad.
Okay, Hyderabad. That's fine. So maybe example, consider your office is there in the high-tech city, Madhapur. Okay, so you're located in KPHP or maybe some other location as well. KPHP consider. So one of the VPN authentication failure is coming from KPHP, and one of the VPN authentication is coming from high-tech city. So maybe one of the VPN authentication is coming by in between, so some other location as well. So how is it possible? This is okay. Within the city, this is okay. But sometimes it is coming from different locations. It is coming from Bangalore, Chennai, and Pune. That one we have to think this is a suspected activity. It's one of the use case, guys. In logarithm, they will ask this use case. Whenever you are going for logarithm interview, they'll expect this one. VPN authentication failures from the different geolocations. That we can discuss under once again SIM tool. Yeah, so go to user and authentication. Yeah, user and authentication meaning here, who has the access to this particular device? Who has the access to this particular device? That one is called user and authentication. So still it is, you can see name of the user. Type of the user, multi-factor authentication, two-factor authentication. In case grouping, L1 team is one team, L2 team is one team, and L3 team is one group. We can create groups also. Same thing we created even in the SOFA CDR tool as well. That time itself, I told for every tool, this can be applicable. Based on the role-based access control, we can create these particular users. Okay, whenever any person is onboarding today, example, if I want to give access to that particular person, first that particular person should be available in the Active Directory. After creating the Active Directory, their username, we have to bring that particular name and we have to create name here. Type of the user, two-factor authentication. So type meaning here, what level of the access. So in a group, which group we will put under. So whether it is a part of L1 team or L2 team or L3 team. Status is active or inactive. So groups. User groups once again. So after creating all the users, we have to specify the each and every group wise. So as I said, L1 team is one group, L2 team is one group, and L3 team is one group. Grouping of the similar type of team members, that is called grouping of the users. Next one. Guest management. So this is for guest users. So I told you, right, if you want to give the access to guest users also, we have to create a guest user names and we have to provide that particular IP address. So IP address and also username of the guest user. Next one. LDAP server. As I told you, every tool we will integrate with Active Directory. So did we see this particular concept in the SOFA CDR tool? Did we see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we did. Under global settings, we have under general settings, we have option is called Active Directory, right? So here also same thing. So can you click on double click, Aruna? Yeah. Double click. Even SIM tool also we will integrate with Active Directory. So here we have to gather the information, Active Directory name, server, CN name also will be there. CN name is the common name sometimes. So that information we have to provide. So here Active Directory AD port demo they given and server IP address. What is server IP address?
10.88.10110.
This is Active Directory server, LDAP server. What is the port number?
310.
369.
89, sir.
Is it clear now? Yeah, common name. So common name it's they will provide. So they means here which team? Which team they will provide this information to us to integrate with Active Directory?
Network.
Windows
Network
Server team. Windows Server team.
Windows Server team. Yeah, Windows Server team they will provide these details. So we have to ask what is the server IP address, what port number anyway we know, common name. Next one is distinguished name. If you want, you can put, otherwise not required. So then save that particular test connectivity is there, right? Test connectivity. Username also is required and test connectivity. Click on test connectivity and automatically, so our firewall to Active Directory connection will be established. If connection is failing, what will you do? Example. So in between FortiGate firewall and also Active Directory, so connection is blocking. In that scenario, or nothing but connection is not established. Test connectivity is showing as a red color instead of green color. What will you do?
Check the configurations again.
Check the configuration. Okay, check the configuration. That's fine. Okay, you will check the configuration. Everything is correct. After that,
PCAP.
yes, we have to take the PCAP file. This is common for not in logs integration. This is common for anything, any configuration related issues as well. So now you can take the PK file. So where will you go for taking the PK file?
Wireshark. Logs and reports from there. We have to export and we have to import in the Wireshark.
In log and report, what information you will provide? You are right. So logs and reports, we will go. From there, how can you export? What information you can provide and can export? So there we have to filter out source IP is portigate.portidemo.com. Destination IP is 10.8.210.100. Understood? So now filtering source IP, destination IP, you can filter out. Then you can export the respective PCAP file. Then you can import. So this is what you have to do. Now practically, is it okay or still you have any queries?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, this is applicable to even logs also. So example, you are integrated firewall logs or any other logs. In that scenario, okay, so we have to go and we have to take the respective log source IP address, destination IP address, and we have to identify the PCAP file and we have to export and we have to import in the Wireshark. Okay, so this is the way how we can troubleshoot. So option is log and report option. If it's a FortiGate firewall, if it is a Palo Alto, we have monitor tab option. Okay, so next one, Radius server. So Radius server, it is a remote access daily user server. So either we can integrate LDAP server or Radius server as well. Both the servers we can, either of the one we can integrate, otherwise we can integrate both. So why we will integrate this one? For authentication purpose. Authentication purpose, we will use this Radius server. So remote access daily user server. So we have to take that particular IP address. Which team will provide this particular username and password? Which team will provide? Which admin team?
Server admin.
Server admin team. Server admin team.
Yes, sir. Network admin team.
Network admin team, guys. Radius server will be maintained by network admin. And Active Directory will be maintained by Windows admin or sysadmin. Don't confuse. Okay. So here we have to ask this Radius server. Why we use this Radius server? Mainly for the authentication and authorization and accounting purpose. Authentication and authorization accounting purpose. We will use this, but yeah, authentication and authorization accounting purpose will use this Radius server. Even LDAP also. So here they integrated two. Even we can integrate one also. That's fine. So we have to take the IP address and we have to provide the secret is nothing but what? Secret. It's showing secret, right? What is secret?
Password.
Yes, password. You are right. Password. Secret is nothing but password. Yeah. Next one, single sign-on. So single sign-on meaning here. So one time, okay, we have couple of third-party tools also available. So like a Okta. Okta is one of the single sign-on solution. And even we have Microsoft, one of the solution is available. From HP, one of the solution is available. So single sign-on, why we will use? That's perfect. Yes, that's right. So one time we can give the username and password so that we can access multiple application. That is called single sign-on. Okay. So I can show practically that one in my organization, whatever we are using, then you'll come to know practically. So even Fortinet firewall can be used as a single sign-on. That is the meaning basically. So for this one, we have to generate a certificates, entity ID and IDP certificate, meaning they are integrating third party as well. Example, if you want to integrate Okta, so we have to provide name of the single sign is a Okta, certificate of the Okta, and entity ID of the Okta, and IDP certificate of the Okta. Next one is IDP entity of the Okta. So then finally, so whenever the user they are entering the single time username and password, they can open other applications as well. So that's called single sign-on. Next one, authentication settings. So captive portal is one of the interview question. You can see captive portal. Captive portal meaning here. So sometimes when you are accessing any of the websites, it will show like, so website is blocked based on the customer requirement. Example, maybe they disabled social networking websites. They disabled social networking websites. Okay. So if you're trying to access the facebook.com. Okay. One of the end user, maybe you are the firewall guy, you blocked the respective activity of the social networking. Okay. So one of the end user, maybe HR team or maybe admin team or product development team or application development team, they don't know whether really it's a blocked or not. So they clicked on the facebook.com. I mean, they try to open the facebook.com. In that scenario, it will appear one of the portal. That portal is called as a captive portal. It will show like the page cannot be displayed or website is blocked. Please contact your administrator. I think somewhere, can you click on relevant documentation? Otherwise, API review. Yeah. It will use HTML or JavaScript basically for this type of page cannot be displayed and so on. Yeah, click on come down, plus symbol, can click on plus symbol. No, it is not showing here. So the backend, okay, programming. So yeah, I can close this one. No, that is documentation. So sometimes, yeah, already working people, they are aware of this one. Whenever a blocking related website you are trying to access, it will show like a website is blocked. Please contact your administrator. So that option it will come. So that is the nothing but captive portal. It's an entire question, guys. What is captive portal? What is captive portal meaning here? So captive portal information, captive portal, it can provide the, so whenever the user is trying to access related to blocked website, it can show, so blocking of the activity and it can represent, so website blocked and please contact your administrator. That is called captive portal. Okay. Last time it is there, but this time they removed the documentation. We can see everything. Okay, so this protocol, it can be identified by HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, Telnet, so all these. Okay, yeah. So that's called captive portal. Next one, porty tokens. So porty tokens is for mobile related part. If you want to access your porty net access through mobile, so it's like a Google Authenticator and Microsoft Authenticator option is available, right? So additional two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication. So after entering username and password, so for every employee, they will give porty token as well. So that is token number basically. So we have to enter the token number for additional authentication mechanism. This is called porty token. So it's like additional OTP kind of thing. So Portinet is supporting additional porty token mechanism as well. So
also SOFO CDR, sir.
SOFO CDR, it is a OTP based and pin based. OTP based and pin based. Security code is coming right through mail.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is a two multi-factor authentication, and they provide a three-factor authentication, not two-factor. One is security code, one is PIN number as well. RSA token, even RSA token, it is long back, not long back, 10 years back, they used to do RSA token. Aruna, can you go to another tab, new tab? New tab? Not new tab, new tab. Yeah. Yeah, RSA token. Yeah, go to images. Enter, enter. Go to images. Yeah, this is called RSA token. When I was working in my first company, that time they provided this RSA token. But if you are losing this one, how much we have to pay? 6,000 rupees they charged one time. And also we have to give complaint, FIR complaint also we have to give in police station. So this is RSA token. So nowadays, even couple of companies, they are using this one. So why? Because mobile, anyway, now everybody is using a mobile authenticator like a Google authenticator or Microsoft authenticator and so on. So that particular code number, it will expire every 30 seconds. First, we have to enter the username and password. If you want to log into laptop, then additionally, even token number also you have to enter. So that 30 minutes on it will be validated. That's why attacker cannot guess. So what, even the attacker knows the password, he cannot enter. Why? Because he doesn't have the RSA token with him. It's like additional authentication mechanism. Okay, similar to same as it is, even FortiGate also supporting Forti client or Forti token, Forti mobile token. This software we have to install on our mobile level, and it can generate additional token when you're trying to access the Fortinet firewall. So that's for multi-factor authentication. Yeah. So we will continue evening. Yeah, so main important topics are over. So one more important thing is log and reports. There we can do monitoring part. Configurations are over. So as I said, network. Yeah, please go up a little bit. Yeah, network policies and objects, security profiles, VPN and user authentication. All these tabs are configuration related. Dashboard is for monitoring purpose. Even Wi-Fi and also come down. Log and reports. These are all completely for monitoring purpose. Come down. Even Wi-Fi also monitoring, sorry, configuration only. Systems security fabric, log and report monitoring purpose. So dashboard also monitoring purpose, system security fabric, log and report also monitoring purpose. In between network policies and objects, security profiles, VPN, user and authentication, Wi-Fi, all these are completely for configuration purpose. Okay, so now we have monitoring option is pending. After completing Wi-Fi, so monitoring option is pending. So monitoring option is nothing but filtering only. Whenever any incident will come, how to filter. And meanwhile, you can install Wireshark also. I will explain Wireshark also. Okay. So do you have any queries? Thank you so much, Aruna. I really appreciate.
Yeah, no
Sir.
worries.
Sir, please check authentication rule.
Authentication,
Yeah, it's pending now.
user and authentication.
Authentication rule.
Yeah, click on authentication.
In security policy.
Yeah,
Sorry,
click on.
policies and object, I think.
Yeah. Policies and objects. Not policies and objects.
Yeah, Jetty and below.
Yeah,
the
authentication rules. Yeah, click on authentication rules.
Yeah, below. Sorry. In
No,
policies,
policies and objects only. Yeah, here authentication rules for, that's what I told you, right? So for which authentication we are using, so single sign-on authentication schema and implicitly. So click on implicit. So it is a based on the password based authentication. Click on SSO. Enable SSO. Example. So click on that particular SSO. So here, in case you are integrating with third party, example, as I said, Okta or Microsoft, or is there any third party vendor, we can use that one. So Right now, implicitly it is showing as a DNA. Yes, if you want to integrate with third-party tool, yes, when we can integrate with the third-party rule, I mean third-party vendor, sorry, third-party vendors as well. Example, maybe I want to integrate with Vokta. So then I can click on Vokta here. So additional configurations also we have to do. So we have discussed under user and authentication. After creating user and authentication, so whatever authentication schema we configure, so that authentication schema, it will appear in the drop down list. We have to select that particular drop down list here. Okay. So then we can define that particular third party tool as well. So whenever the user is trying to access any of the application, it will ask, so username and password initially first to respective Vokta or any third party vendor. From there, we have to access multiple application. So that is mean by authentication rules. Is it clear?
Clear, sir. Fine, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, so if you are going for dedicated to firewall vacancy, please remember, guys, each and every tab is very, very important. So especially policies, objectives, and also security profiles, log and report, you have to remember. Okay. Even integrations also, LDAP integration, radius server integration, LDAP is nothing but Active Directory integration part. So these things also you have to remember. Okay. And on one more interface I forgot, network also, network interface configurations as well, second tab. Yes, these three. So these are all the implementations level. Okay, you should be aware of everything, L1, L2, L3, but even you will not take care of the implementations, but yes, they will expect implementation based interview questions when you're going for firewall interview. Okay, so, but unfortunately, we don't have Palo Alto demo. Okay, even in my organization, we are not using Palo Alto. We are using F5. That too, not, I mean, web application firewall we are using.
FI means Fire Management Center, sir?
FI has a multiple products, Aruna. So one is, no, FI is different and FireEye is different. FireEye is for dedicated to malware analysis. FI is a different company. The FI has a firewalls and LTM and GTM, local traffic manager, global traffic manager. Whenever FI is saying load balancer, it's a very, very popular one. Number one in the market, FI load balancer all over the worldwide. After that, A10 we have. So FI is a load balancer and couple of products also they have, like a WAF, web application firewall. SIM also I think they have, yeah. But FireEye is different. So FireEye and FI is not same, both are different.
Then Firewall Management Center will fall under 40, for Firewall for one future, right?
40 manager that one. Go to security fabric. I will explain. Go to security fabric down. Security fabric. Click on that one. Yeah, go to fabric connectors. Yeah, these are all the different types of products we have.
Actually, in my organization, we have a Firewall Management Center.
Firewall Management Center.
Yes, FMC.
Are using?
Yes,
so
sir.
Is from FortiGate or third party vendor?
FortiGate only, not third party. We are only managing it to end, including admin access.
No, I am asking, so whether you are taken the licensing option from the respective, which firewall you are using?
That one not sure. We are, but we will call it as a FortiGate FMC. FMC only we will call it to use.
That means you are using firewall manager as FMC, FortiGate only. That means in organization level, you have FortiGate firewalls.
Okay.
Yeah, come down. See, these are all the different types of products it is supporting by Fortinet company. Okay, so many products it is supporting. Forti Sandbox, you can see Forti Sandbox. So it's for malware analysis. Forti Manager is for firewall, managing of all the firewalls. Forti NAC, it's for network access control list on the host level. Next one.
That's it.
So only, okay, go up. So Fortinet demo, that one right now we are using Forti Analyzer, logging, storing of the logs. We will use a Forti Analyzer. So even they have dedicated module is there that is called port analyzer. Okay, so whatever right now logs are storing here only. So these logs only we have to integrate it to where? SIM tool.
SIM tool.
Yes, you are right. We have to integrate it to SIM tool. So server is there, right? Server 10.8.21062. There we have to specify the SM tool IP address. So under server, we have to specify the SM tool IP address and test connectivity. Then these logs will go to SM tool. But what is the option I provided? What option I provided to integrate firewall logs to SIM tool?
Slug
Yeah.
method.
Yeah, syslog method. Most of the vendors, it is supporting syslog method. It's a generic way. That time itself, I told you it's a generic one. Yeah, come down. Cloud logging also they have. And Porty client. So Porty client is for the VPN. Porty client, 1 second, Porty client. Yeah. Yeah, so these are all the product it is supporting. Porty mail also they have. Porty mail they have. And Porty sim also they have. So many product it is supporting. Yeah. Porty view, Porty guard. Yeah, so these are a couple of products supporting by Portinet company. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Okay, so we will continue evening. I'm not sure whether I will take evening class or not, but I will let you know by 12 o'clock. In case if I will take the class, 6:30 only I will take the class. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.